Hi, welcome to day 3 of 30 Days of Awakening with me. I don't have Henry, my co-host today. He's still sleeping. It's a little early for him. Okay, so today I would like to talk about breathing and pain. Day 1, I spoke about the practice or having a discipline and being forgiving of yourself and having a discipline, and I encouraged just dedicating 5 minutes of time in the beginning every day as best as you can to practicing and working on self-awareness stuff. And yesterday spoke about the day 2. I spoke about the power of meditating and how it has changed my life and how it's an entry point into awareness. And so today I want to continue off with what I believe to be a great entry point into meditating for people that feels good, and it's a place that's very tangible for most people to begin, and that's with the breath. And I want to talk about the breath, and I also want to talk about pain, emotional pain, and physical pain. I mean, I'm more referring to dealing with emotional pain and how it creates programming and tapes which cause us to act out in behaviors that we may not want to. I'm talking about internal pain, but I do believe that the same tools that transcend that pain also transcend physical pain. That's been my experience. And I know there are people that have deepened that path incredibly so, of transcending physical pain with meditating. There's that one guy. I'm so fascinated with him. I know I'm going to reach into his training more, but the Iceman, who I believe that was his nickname, he could sit in the Alps, or still does, I believe, for hours and hours without his body temperature going low with virtually no clothes on. He sat in an ice bath and his temperature barely went down. If you look it up on YouTube, you'll see. Leave a link in the comments if you find that link. Anyway, so today, back to what I want to talk about is breathing and pain. And they really work well together. Let me first talk about breathing, though, okay? As a voice teacher, I've spent the last 20 years of my life studying the internal mechanics of breath, how breath. I'm sure that overblew the mic. But studying how to tap into the power of breath. I mean, that's been that's my life. It's been my life's work, and so I have a real understanding of breath mechanics for myself, and still I'll find myself getting tight or getting nervous or getting stressed, and I hold my stomach tight. And it's like, and my diaphragm is up, and I'm not letting my abdomen drop. There's no release down there, because that's where I hold tension. I'm an abdominal muscle tension holder, which is right in the breathing area. So, breathing, it's a real cool thing in that, as meditating, I'll talk about what we'll do with meditating. As meditating, it's something it's very tangible. You can focus on it. You focus on breathing in, focus on breathing out. You can even take a thought and attach it to in and out. And that's cool. But even cooler than that, which we're going to do some of in a second, is that your body, heart, blood pressure system, when it taps into that breathing, when you start regulating your breathing, if you feel like your heart is racing, and you breathe, and you start breathing at a medium to faster pace, which kind of matches the energy you're at, and then you just start slowly breathing a little bit slower, you're going to find that your heart comes along with it and slows down. It's kind of like the breath plugs into the it's as if the breath plugs into your physical manifestation of whatever was irking you in that moment, So if you're like stressed out and you're fighting and whatever you're fighting, really it started here. It's adrenaline, you're nervous. So your breath can get in there and release that mental construct of, I'm in a meeting, I'm about to talk at the meeting, I've got a presentation, heart's racing. You feel this heart beating. You can simply with breath. Feel your heart beating. Take some really nice controlled breaths, which I'll just break down in a second, but you can take some nice controlled breaths, and you can take your heart rate and slow it down, maybe 20, maybe 30. You continue to practice this. You can take and really piece yourself out, outside in, It's not even about getting inside and making peace with thoughts. This is literally taking a physical reaction in the moment and shutting it down with breath. Like, that is powerful, So that's why I want to talk about breath first. So with breathing, there's lots of ways to do it. There's ideas, certain breathing where it's coming in through the nostrils, letting it out through the mouth. Some people have feelings about just letting it happen naturally. Others like to control it a bit. Sometimes people put resistance on it when they breathe. All of it, I believe, is useful. As a meditative tool, I believe it's all very useful, and here's why. The idea of meditating and using breath from a meditative standpoint, not just to calm yourself down in a stressed situation, but using breath as a meditation tool is it's something that's very easy to put awareness on, to start stepping out of the stream of thinking. Okay? It takes a while. It takes a while to get to. It took me a while to get to the place where in my meditating, I was comfortable to just sit down and just look at my thoughts and just let them go and just kind of watch the show. I'll still be pulled off sometimes, but like I remember in the beginning, I would spend 30 minutes sometimes meditating or trying to meditate, and 27 of those, I was somewhere else. I was barely having an experience. And then I judged that, and then it made it even, that's the lack of self-forgiveness. You think you should be doing better, and how that can derail you. That's a tool of the ego. So this breath is a tool to get you out of the stream of thought, which is what we're doing. Every one of these tools with meditating, focusing on the breath, focusing on a mantra, listening to sounds alertly in the room as if you're waiting for somebody, which then makes your mind kind of still and quiet. Washing your thoughts, doing inner body energy work, which is my favorite. It's like chi stuff. Woo, that's when it gets that kind of electrical feeling in your body. All of these things are all the same thing functionally for you and me. They are ways to become present to and detach from that, the thoughts being chased, or you chasing the thoughts, like a rabbit in the woods, just going off of it. It stops. It makes you able to become present to yourself doing that. That's what meditating is as a tool. And so however you get to a place of identifying outside of your thought stream, whether it is the breath, the sounds external, the physical sensations, however it is that you start to, and using however you start to do it, that's fine. And all of these tools, every one of them, I encourage you to play with. Play. Meditation is fun. and you have to keep it fun. It's like, I was talking with my brother, who is exploring some, and I hope that's okay I said that. That's all right. I don't think anybody cares. And if you care about that, I have a problem with you. No, I'm kidding. He was talking about his meditating because, he started, and it's something, obviously I like to talk about. And he was only working on breath. He was like, that was enough, I'm like, well, and he'd been doing it, and he had some momentum going, and then he could kind of fizzled out. I'm like, well, you got to keep it fun. Like, try something new. There's a lot of try an app, do this. Like, continue to find new ways to identify outside of your thought stream for a second. It helps shift your perspective. It detaches you from acting out of automated responses. It helps show you loops of patterns you have of people you keep meeting over and over because you keep attracting them and you don't know why. You start seeing all of that stuff. And sorry, it got glitchy for a second. So you start seeing all of that stuff, and that's that's the idea of meditating, is identifying outside of yourself. So the breath. There are two ways to do it. If your mind is really running wild, and it's just, if you thinking about breathing in as a sensation and breathing out as a sensation it still leaves you unable to keep attention on it. Like, your mind is just nomadic. Then you can take the mind and hijack it and put a name on the breath, or put a word on it. In, out, or warm love, or peace. Awareness. It feels like a big awareness. It's like a lot to say on a breath out, but it's all intent. It's all what's you're saying inside of your mind, to take the thoughts that are trying to, the mind going off, and giving it a purpose. In the early stages of it, for me, like, giving my mind a focus helped to streamline the thinking, so that it was something to become present to. And now, I rarely now, and not that that meditating, the using words in, out is, I'm not closed off to exploring it more. I'm happy to. I've meditated with that one in the past, but now I just enjoy the whole thing happening. I enjoy the whole show. Like, I like to sit back from that presence and just watch the thoughts. Like, it's fascinating to just see what I think is important right now in my life, and what Tim and his emotions are doing, and like, it's just really fun. And sometimes I just try to, if I can, I can just, I like to go sort of unchecked for a minute and catch myself and be like, oh, look at where he is, It's that coming back to, it's the presence and coming back to, which is so fun. However, I feel myself waking up more and more, which is okay too. So breathing, just try that. 5 minutes in the morning. Sit down for 5 minutes, and you can catalog your experience. Do it for 2 weeks. See if you feel any different in 2 weeks. So in that 5 minutes of self-awareness time, just let your breath, you want your stomach to go out when you breathe in, okay? It's like you're filling up a bag of air. Your diaphragm goes down and your stomach goes out. Now I'm in the singing teacher mode. You're going to contract your abdomen to blow out. And when you breathe in, all you do is let your stomach out. Avoid taking a clavicular breath, okay? That doesn't serve you. Should all be a low thing. And making sure that you're not holding tension in your abdominal muscles. That's an important thing, okay? And the video is already at 14 minutes, so I don't know. I'm not going to get too far into pain. But I will say that let's use breath now as one of those tools. When you become present to yourself going through a funk, you're depressed, you're frustrated, angry, give yourself 5 minutes and set it aside, break away, go to the bathroom, sit in the bathroom stall, put on your headphones, break away. Find some way to break away. And just sit down And either just feel the sensation of your breath in and out and just put all your awareness on that, because it feels really good when you do. Or put thoughts on it. In, out. In on the breath, out on the breath. And watch how that shifts whatever manifested emotion you had inside of you. Watch how that will shift that. So powerful. So, painful things come up. Use the breath as a way to go outside in with the body to start to soften the pain. Okay? And last thing I want to say about pain is in my life, pain has been, emotional pain, has been my greatest shifter, my greatest, the universe, it was the greatest tapper on the shoulder, was pain. And my hope, my mission is to save, okay. I'd like some people to bypass needing to create as much pain in their lives as I needed to create in mine, to start to become present to themselves and find the peace and joy that's contained within self-awareness. However, I will say paradoxically that I'm so thankful where I am now because I'm not afraid of emotional pain. And I do believe that on the other side of awakening, and not other side, through the process of awakening, that becomes more and more clear. Insofar as even more now, for me, I've had many experiences, and not all, but I've had many experiences of, and it's going to sound crazy, but enjoying the experience of emotional pain. At the same time I'm having emotional pain. And not in a wallowing in it, but just fascinated by, wow, look at this, because I know it's not going to stay. So I'm just present to it, and I just ask to learn from it as a way that I'm out of tune in some way. So on one hand, I want to help save people from creating emotional pain for themselves. And then on the other hand, I want to also help to dissolve that pain is even a big deal emotionally. So that may be enough to chew on for today. So it surely is for me. So there you go. Breathing and pain. I'll talk some more about pain and transcending that. Have a great day. Thanks.